This is Julio's Corner, my corner of the internet, where I talk about whatever is on my mind. I'll mostly talk about stuff I've watched, read, or listened to, but sometimes I may ramble on about the news or politics or on society at large. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, August 17, 2025. And welcome back to the show. We are just going to get right into the main point of the show. There's not going to be any news summary of any kind. We're talking about Wednesday, Season 2, Part 1, which just came out this past week. The next part will come out in September, early September. I don't remember the exact date, but we're going to get into it. So, spoiler alerts, if you have not watched the show, you may want to disregard this episode until you have. That's 4 episodes you need to catch up on. So, we're going to get right into it. So, first things first. One of the things that Jenna Ortega was unhappy with regarding season 1 was this romance story that her character Wednesday had. She felt that took away a little bit from the crux of her character, because her character is she's a misanthropic character, so she doesn't like anyone. So the fact that you pitted her with this romance storyline kind of left a bad taste in her mouth, for lack of a better phrasing. So there's no romance in for Wednesday's character in this new season, which it worked out perfectly because the love interest of season 1 ended up being the homicidal killer of season 1, and so now they're not they're not in a relationship anymore because her ex-boyfriend now is trying to kill her. The Hyde, what's his name? I have it in my notes. Tyler Galpin. He's a Hyde. He's a homicidal Hyde, and he wants to kill all outcasts because he's a self-hating outcast. So because he was brainwashed by this normie who lived in that little town where Nevermore is located. I think it's called Jericho, and she brainwashed him to try to kill all outcasts. So they're not. Their relationship fizzled and died in season 1. So there was another character in season 1 that had an unrequited love interest in Wednesday. His name was Xavier Thorpe. He was like a painter, and he would paint these visions that he had about upcoming events. Well, the actor who played Xavier Thorpe got caught up in a scandal. I think it was a sexual scandal. I don't remember the details. But because of said scandal, the creators of the show decided to write him off this season, so he's gone. So that was an easy, clean solution to get rid of any romantic plots for Wednesday's character. So Wednesday could just continue to stick to being a misanthrope who's out to seek out serial killers and solve murder mysteries, because that's her passion. So that's gone. Xavier Thorpe. The storyline that they put to write him off was basically because he was falsely accused of murder in season 1. His father took him out of Nevermore and re-enlisted him to a school in Europe somewhere. I forget where they said. It's not important because, again, he's no longer in the show. So the only one who has a love interest is her roommate / friend, Enid the werewolf. In season 1, she was trying to get into a relationship with Ajax because she felt she didn't feel like a fellow werewolf because she couldn't wolf out during the full moon like other werewolves, and that was her great shame to her family. So she felt like an outcast, and she had a crush on this Gorgon called Ajax. Towards the end of season 1, supposedly they became a boyfriend and girlfriend, but also at the end of season 1, she was able to wolf out to save Wednesday from Tyler, the hide. And so apparently over the during the school break, because they had to close down the school because of the principal getting killed, um, she started hanging out with wolf packs because she's now one of them. And in doing so, she got involved with another fellow werewolf by the name of Bruno. So now she's stuck in this love triangle with Bruno and Ajax, but really it's more with Bruno because she pretty much just ghosted Ajax. So that's the little love interest in this season of Wednesday. Now, back to Wednesday. She's strictly here for the murder mysteries. The first episode starts off with her getting captured by the serial killer that she was tracking down. She had a passion for this serial killer slash scalper since she was a child. They show a flashback montage of her talking about this serial killer played by the kid from Sixth Sense. I think his name is Haley Joel Osment. So anyway, she successfully captures him in the end of the big opening of the first episode of season 2, and now she's back at school, and she's getting these weird messages that she's not sure from someone that's saying they're watching her, and she also comes across another murder that's happening in this town of Jericho. I believe the town is called Jericho, because there's this guy who gets killed off in the first episode. Carl Bradbury was his name. He was a private eye PI, and you see him in that episode. He's spying on a an adulterous relationship, but these murderer of crows basically kill him off, and Carl Bradbury, sorry, he's the one who gets killed off. So Tyler's father, I didn't take down his name. He was his partner when they were both cops. Now both Tyler and Carl are no longer cops. They're well, I guess Carl's the private eye. Tyler's just staying at home, being an alcoholic, because he's plagued with guilt for being wrong about who the killer was from season 1, because it ended up being his son, and then of course trying to protect his son and going against his badge. So he broke the code of being a cop or whatever. So now he's just this alcoholic friend of Carl Bradbury, who I think he helps from time to time. And right before Carl died, he left Tyler's father a message saying that I have if I'm dead, you can find the what my case is case I'm working on at this. I forget the name. I think he said bullpen or something. I forget the code word he used. I think he said bullpen. So anyway, he's killed off, and a couple other murders happen via Crow. Tyler's father also gets killed off, like in the next episode. So Wednesday is headstrong in trying to solve this murder. And in the end of episode 4 of part 1 of season 2, you find out that the murder mystery, that the murderer is this girl, this female by the name of she goes by the name of Judy. Her alias is Judy Spinagle. She's the secretary of the head ward of the Willow Hospital, a psychiatric hospital. And it turns out that she's the daughter of Augustus Stonehurst, who used to be the former head of the Willow Hospital of psychiatric patients. I'm just going to call it asylum to keep it simple. The Willow Psychiatric Hospital. Yeah, I'm just going to call it Willow Hill Asylum. So it's revealed at the end of episode 4 that she's the killer. As I mentioned, there's going to be spoilers here. And she was a normie so her father was another normie who, unlike most normies who hate outcasts, which is what these people like Adams and everyone who goes to Nevermore are called. These people with these supernatural abilities are outcasts. Unlike other normies who hate or are afraid of outcasts, Augustus Stonehurst wanted to be one, and he wasn't. So he would run these experiments on outcasts in the Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital to try to take their abilities and somehow put him on himself. And his daughter apparently also volunteered for this experiment, and it worked on her because she became an avian, which is someone who can control birds. So that's how you find out that she's the killer at the by the end of episode 4. So in that ending, all kinds of havoc run loose. Tyler is freed, and he goes into a murderous rampage. He ends up killing off his former master. What's her name? Marilyn Thornhill. So he kills off Marilyn Thornhill, and he faces off with Wednesday. Ends up throwing her out the window to be left for dead, and escapes. So that's how episode 4 ends, with the murder mystery resolved. It's not who we thought it was in the beginning, and there's a lot of open subplots, which is what I want to get into next. So, murder was pretty simple. What else is going on though is that you have Pugsley Adams. He's now in Nevermore Academy, Wednesday's younger brother, and he was living in a different dorm, and in this dorm, the RA, who happens to be Ajax, tells them this story about this urban folktale about this kid who had a clockwork heart. Like, well, he had a weak heart and he was dying, but he was a genius, and so he created this clockwork heart to replace for a heart transplant, and it kept him healthy. And but the way the story goes is, after getting this heart transplant with the clockwork heart that he created, he became cold, and but he was still brilliant. But because he no longer human, essentially, his experiments got darker and more dangerous. And the last experiment he did supposedly killed him. You see the montage of this explosion happening and him getting shot out of the window, and he was buried in this in the forest of Nevermore Academy at a trunk called the skull. The skull tree, and it looks like a skull. So Pugsley is impressed by the story, and he's interested in because everyone keeps it's supposed to be a horror story, and the lesson is that do not go in the forest alone at night, because that kid might come out from the grave and haunt you or whatever. So for everyone else that would be a deterrent, but for Pugsley, it was okay. It's a challenge accepted. So he goes to the forest to find the skull tree while festivities are happening at night, and he finds the skull tree because he has the ability. He has his ability is he can electrically zap anyone because of all the experiments Wednesday did on him, growing up. So in doing so, Pugsley accidentally resuscitates this kid from that urban folktale. We don't know his name, so Pugsley just names him Slurp. He thinks he just has this zombie pet, not realizing that Slurp, as they call him now, that's what's listed in the casting. Every time he eats a brain, he actually starts getting smarter, and his skin starts regenerating, and so he's starting to look more and more human. But Pugsley doesn't realize that that's the cause of his improvement. Like, because when he first appears, he's just like a skeletal corpse, sort of, with no brain, big cracked skull, wide open. His head, you see the big hole there, and he's mostly skin and bones. But after he has his first taste of brains, which was this driver, this dri- yeah, driver teacher, driver instructor, I guess is what you call him. Someone who teaches you how to drive. He That's his first victim. He starts healing up a little bit, and Pugsley notices some improvement. He thinks it's the food that he's feeding him from the school, but it's actually the brains that he's eating. So that's one of the subplots is this zombie who's constantly eating brains. His second victim, what was his second victim? Oh, second victim was this scout leader from a competing. Uh, I'll just call them Boy Scout troop. They wanted to take over the camping grounds that the Nevermore Academy had reserved. They lost the bet, but they still wanted to sneak in at night to take it over and kick out the Nevermore school. And in his attempt, he went into the tent where the zombie was located, and he became his second victim, and that made him a little smarter. Now he can sort of speak. So episode 4 comes around. He kills Augustus Stonehurst, and he kills also the head of the asylum of the Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital. What was her name? Dr. Fairburn. So those are his last two. Oh, and a couple of the security detail of Willow Hospital. So all those brains, he's probably going to be almost his full self by episode 5 when it comes out in September. So that's one subplot that's going on, aside from the murder that Wednesday already solved. You have Principal Dort, the new principal who took the place of the previous one, Weems, who got killed in the first season, played by Steve Buscemi. He's he at first you think he's just this very enthusiastic principal who wants to bring back the pride and joy of. He's trying to build up their reputation, and so he's trying to get funding for the school, but he's doing it in a very underhanded way. He's blackmailing Bianca Barkley, the siren, to try to get her to use her siren song to basically coerce donations from people, because people, when she uses her siren song, she's basically controlling their mind. So she's also a scholarship student, so she's threatening her with her scholarship essentially, because she can't afford to pay for the tuition of the school. So if we don't get the funding, I'm gonna have to get rid of some scholarships, and it might be yours, and then you'll be out, unless you can scratch my back, I scratch yours. You help me get donations via your mind control abilities, and we'll go that way. And the person that he's really interested in mind controlling donations from is Grandmama Hester Frump, who we find out is Morticia's mom. That's her name, Grandmama Hester Frump. Let's see. What other subplots are we have? Oh, also, speaking of Bianca Barkley, you have so in season 1, her mother's introduced towards the end. She's the head of this cult. She lost her abilities to use her siren, and she's trying to coerce her daughter to help her and her husband out with this cult. And of course, Bianca's dead set against it. But her mother threatens her towards the end, and that's how season 1 ends. Come season 2, apparently her mother's husband is on the run because the FBI have a case against him because of the cult of embezzlement of funds or whatever. And so he's in hiding. And so Bianca rescued her mom from that cult, got her out, and is hiding her in, trying to hide her out from the public so no one can find her. And of course, Tyler Galpin is back. Tyler Galpin, the Hyde. After episode 4, he's free. He's on the run, and now he's vowed to kill both Enid and Wednesday, which is Wednesday's fear, because in the ending of the first episode, so I forgot to mention this one last thing regarding Wednesday. She's been playing with her psychic abilities since season 1. She wanted to be able to control them instead of just letting them happen sporadically the way they were in season 1. She wanted to be able to hone them and have full control of them. And so she thinks she's done that. However, when she uses her abilities now, there's these black tears are coming out of her eyes. And according to her mother, that's a sign that she's overusing her abilities, and she has to wait for her spiritual guide to. She can't just control it by herself, by her own will alone. She needs her spirit guide to help her use her abilities. In season 1, her spiritual guide was Goody Adams, the ancestor of the Adams family that looked exactly like her because it was played by Jenna Ortega. But anyways, don't think about that. Goody Adams looks exactly like Wednesday Adams, and that was her spiritual guide in season 1. But she moved into the light, so to speak, because her mission to help Wednesday was done, which was to re-kill and fully get rid of the Pilgrim founder of Jericho, that also the ancestor of Marilyn Thornhill. So the first Thornhill that has this hate of the outcast. So she currently doesn't have a guide. She's just trying to bare knuckle her psychic ability on her own. However, the side effect is she has these black blood essentially is coming out of her eyes. But anyway, as I was mentioning, towards the end of the first episode, Enid touches her shoulder, and she goes into this trance. And in that trance, she sees that Enid is going to be killed, and Enid, in this vision, blames her for her death. So, on top of figuring out the murder mystery, because she was afraid that the murderer who's killing these people with the crows is linked to the person who's trying to kill, is going to be the person who's going to kill Enid. But now after episode 4, we're thinking it's going to be Tyler, the Hyde who escaped, who said he's going to kill her, because it was Enid's werewolf form that helped get Tyler captured, because she beat the crap out of him. And so he wants revenge. So he wants to get both Wednesday, and he wants to both kill Enid and Wednesday. And he's already started his revenge quest by killing his former master, Marilyn Thornhill. According to Marilyn Thornhill, if a Hyde kills the master, the one who made them what they are, they become, completely psychotic or whatever. So that's what we can expect of Marilyn Thornhill, not Marilyn Thornhill, of Tyler in the next 4 episodes. So those are the other subplots outside of the murder mystery for season 2. And because there's so many subplots and there's only 4 episodes left, I'm curious to see how that's going to wrap itself up, nicely. I have my doubts. The murder mystery is sort of solved, but the killer, whose name is, for the moment, her name is Judy Spanigal, because we don't know what her real name is. We just know that she's the daughter of Augustus Stonehurst. I think they mentioned her name in the show, but I didn't remember. I didn't write it down. She escaped Willow Hill Hospital as well. When there was because Wednesday accidentally caused a blackout in their encounter, and that's how. So all the cells unlocked and everyone got out, including the zombie Slurp. So, anyways, I'm curious to see how those four plots are going to wrap up, along with the murder mystery that hasn't fully gotten closure because she's still not in handcuffs. Um, so in this season, we have the same cast from season one minus Xavier Thorpe, who is no longer in the show. So you have again on top of Wednesday, Bianca Belair, Enid, Morticia, Gomez, um, Lurch, Thing. Uh, I think that's the regular cast. Oh, did I say? I said Bianca already. So yeah, that's the regular cast. So on top of the regular cast, we have some new characters. As I mentioned, Bruno, who's Enid's current boyfriend. You have Agnes DeMille. Um, as I mentioned in the beginning, there was someone who was stalking Wednesday, so she thought that was linked, that was connected to the murderer. Turns out, no. The all these messages she was getting about someone saying I'm watching you. It turns out it's a stalker slash fan who can turn invisible. And Agnes DeMille, all she wants is for Wednesday to accept her. And so towards the end, she actually kidnapped Enid and Bruno and put them in this on prank day. Put them in this setup where if Wednesday doesn't figure out the clues fast enough, they're going to get killed. But that was her way of trying to get Wednesday's attention to accept her and recognize her. It kind of worked because now Wednesday had acknowledged her abilities and is using her to help. Well, was using her to help her figure out the murder mystery. And so I'm sure she'll use her in the last four episodes to aid her as again. So Bruno, Agnes, as I mentioned, Grandmama Hester Frump, Morticia's mother. She is now in the picture because again they're trying to get money from her, and she does not have a good relationship with Morticia, and Wednesday is kind of using that to get back at her mom because her relationship with her mom isn't great. You have Professor Orloff. He's a new character. He's this professor. He's basically a head in a jar in a robotic body, played by Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future fame and several other things. It was interesting. It was fun seeing him again. I haven't seen him in ages. Dr. Fairborn, as I mentioned, the head of Willow Asylum, we'll just call it that, who gets killed off in episode 4. Judy Spinagle, as I mentioned, the daughter of Gus Stonehurst. Principal Dort, as I mentioned, played by Steve Buscemi, the scheming principal of Nevermore Academy. Slurp the zombie, and Isadora Capri. She is the most, out of all the new characters, she's the one who's had the least amount of interaction with the plot. So Isadora Capri is the music teacher or music professor who wants Wednesday to join the orchestra. She is played by Billie Piper of Doctor Who fame and many other things, but Doctor Who is the one that put her on the map for myself. Probably several others who were big Doctor Who fans. I think she was a pop artist before that, but she since then became an actress. And I think Doctor Who was the first big breakout role for her. Rose Tyler was her name in Doctor Who. But anyway, in this show, she is this music professor. I don't know what her abilities are. Right now, we just know she is the music professor. We at first suspected her of being the avian that was doing the murders because she happened to have a bird cage in her class full of birds. And when Wednesday was chasing the avian, who was covered in a cloak, so you couldn't see who it was. She ended up in her classroom, and Isadora was nowhere in sight until she did show up with a tray of refreshments to see Dr. Fairburn, and she seemed out of breath as if she was running. But as we figured out, it wasn't her after all. It was Judy Spinagel. So outside of that, the only thing that she's really been doing in the show is giving Wednesday a couple of notes on how to play the cello, and pushing her to join her the Nevermore Orchestra. So yeah, this is exactly the amount of time that I thought I was going to take for the show. So final thoughts. I like this new season. To tell you the truth, I wasn't totally off-put by the. I didn't find the romantic interest in season 1 all that off-putting. I was just happy to see the world of the Addams Family once again, because I was a fan of the movies that came out in the 90s, with Christina Ricci, funny enough, playing Wednesday. Now she's playing. Well, she was playing this villain, Marilyn Thornhill. So I was happy to see this world again. I love Jenna Ortega's take on the Wednesday character. I do agree with her though, because of her being. I mean, the other thing is, like I mentioned, the movies, Addams Family and Addams Family Values. There was a romantic interest there too. So because of the movies, I was already, I guess, predispositioned to accepting a romantic interest story with Wednesday's character. So, but that being said, I like this new season. I like this new take. I am very curious how they're gonna wrap everything up, just because season 1 was pretty simple in its plots. It was. I mean, that really was the whole arc of the show, was really the Hyde murders and figuring out who was the one involved. And there was a couple of side quests or side things that happened, but overall it wasn't to the extent of this new season, where you have this scheming principal, Principal Dort, Bianca Belair having her own little story going on, the love triangle with Enid, Ajax, and Bruno, the zombie, Slurp. I mean, that's like 3 other things going on. How are they going to wrap it all up in 4 episodes? I don't know. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, though. And that wraps up the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or any thoughts you'd like to share, you can reach me by clicking on the Contact Me link in the show notes. If you're feeling extra generous, you can click on the donate link in the show notes and send some money my way. This show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. This means you can share this episode, remix it, do whatever you want. Just say where you got it from. And as always, thank you for listening.